Hello everyone, it's your Peacekeeper, and I've got a video for you guys about battleships and how to dominate a battle with them. More specifically, knowing when to push and when not to. And I understand that's a little difficult, so I'm going to use this video that's going on in the background, where this first part shows exactly what I'm talking about, what your priorities should be, how to recognize when you need to bail and when you need to keep pushing. So we're going to use that. This is a Tier 9 battle, and it is on Tears of the Desert, my least favorite map in the game outside of Ocean. We are in the USS Missouri, obviously one of my favorite battleships in the game. It's an Iowa class, it's got radar, it's got fantastic guns, lots of good AA, a lot of things to actually love. But we're going to use this to actually demonstrate what I'm about to talk about. So this first half of this video is going to be basically me talking over like it was an epic battle replay. And then the last half, we're going to cover some of the points in this video about, realistically what to do to replicate what you see here. And this is probably the fastest 123,000 damage I've ever racked up in a battleship, and you'll see it full-fledged here. So let's talk about this battle in our normal epic battle replay voice, even though this really isn't that epic of a battle. So Tears of the Desert, Missouri, we spawned on the north edge of the map, and this is, well, the whole map is really open, so I guess that's not a huge surprise. But usually what happens on the north side here is we get this kind of like bow-on battleship mess that usually happens, and there's a distinct advantage to that, especially in a ship like Iowa or North Carolina that are fantastic bow tankers. And, we've got a pretty healthy amount of support up here, so there's no reason that we shouldn't really be able to push. Now, there's no other STW members in here, so we don't have to worry about, oh, well, he's divisioned up. Nope, I'm all by my lonesome here with just a bunch of other randoms. We do have a Henry IV, an Ognivoy who is bailing on us, a Des Moines who is bailing on us. Our Henry looks like he's going to help us. We got a Tirpitz, and this other Missouri here. There's no reason that we shouldn't be able to take this battle and just absolutely push this side with relative ease. Except for one problem. Henry IV is already bailing out. He got spotted early on and is being engaged by an Udaloy. So we're going to try and do what we can to put some rounds on said Udaloy. So first salvo out is going to him. Not really great dispersion there, but, maybe we'll get lucky. And there's 3,200 damage taken off the Udaloy straight away right off at the beginning of the map. Now, the Henry IV got some pretty good hits on him, so that's always a good sign. And at this point, we're keeping pushing here. No reason not to. We're not being detected by the Udaloy yet because we're not within that magic range. We got two battleships here, a third one that's not far behind. Looks like our Des Moines is kind of coming in the area. We got the Henry IV. We should have plenty of support here to continue to push. So, push we will. Now we're starting to see the battlefield is changing slightly. We got briefly detected there as the Udaloy went into his smoke, but we aren't currently detected. Got ourselves a run over here that we are going to engage. He's kind of sailing broadside, but he turns in at the last minute. So that's a disappointment. And we are detected. Now this Udaloy is getting to the range where, hey, we can probably engage him. And look at this! Surprise! We've got radar on board. And we actually find ourselves a Kagero as well. This is enough to spook out the Udaloy, so we're going to engage him, try and sink him right off the bat. Get rid of this destroyer from this mess. He's managed to start us a fire, and down he goes. That was that supposedly ridiculous and shouldn't actually exist pen. But one other thing to keep in mind is destroyers in smoke tend to launch torpedoes at things. And there they are. There's the first set of torpedoes. Got ourselves a Kagero over here that we should also probably engage, but we lose him before we can get too far. Now, the other Missouri is still behind me, but he has slowed down quite a bit. That's all right. We're still in a decent position. We got smoke here, plus we got ourselves a broadside Des Moines. This can mean only one thing. Shot out right before he disappears. Look at that shot dispersion. And you guessed it. Full health Des Moines, completely deleted from the map. No idea how much damage it was. A lot. Not going to go look it up. But now we got ourselves a Missouri here that is sailing broadside. You can see here I've come to a complete stop. I'm still detected. There's a Kagero out there. Somewhere nearby is that Z-23 that briefly popped up. Just kind of fishing around for priority targets here. Knowing that I'm detected, it's kind of one of those things where, well, we want to be cautious about what we're shooting at. Aha! I will take ourselves a broadside Iowa. You know, Iowa is not immune to citadels, so I'm definitely going to take advantage of that. And 3 hits there for, I think it was 5k damage. Not a whole lot. Shooting that rear gun at the other Missouri running away. And now we're going to turn into this. Doing our usual there to keep our bow pointed towards the most lethal threat. That's going to come back. You'll see in a minute. And nope, torpedoes off to our left side there. Got ourselves a broadside Missouri. Select him, shoot. And, oh, Z-23 pops up. He's within our range, so we need to turn and we need to slam on the brakes. Hey, we got 2 citadels off on that broadside Missouri over there. Oh, 3,200 to the Z-23. We slammed on our brakes here. Close the barn doors for those of you who know what that maneuver actually is. I think it was Wisconsin that actually tested that, and I was told afterwards that the ship never really was the same ever again. So we're shooting, we're trying to engage the Z-23. Unfortunately, we're going to eat a torpedo. No flood on that torpedo, though. Yeah, well, we missed the Z-23. Still hunting around for priority targets here. Missouri, he's still next. He's still near me. Oop. No idea what's going on with him. We are 8k away from another battleship. But, our secondaries are going off, so that means Kagero's there. We really need to bail. At this point, I'm looking at the mini-map going, why didn't our Tirpitz, that Benson, and the Henry come up just a little bit? Had they come up just a little bit closer, probably wouldn't have lost the Missouri nearly as easily, but, you know, we lost him, so now we need to get out of here. Of course, making what I would call the death turn and losing lots and lots of hit points as a result. Engaging this Kagero here because it's a much bigger threat. Plus, it's a little bit easier to kill, in truth. We managed to take off a pretty healthy amount of damage from him. Okay, he's still alive. He's bow in. It's a good profile for him to give us to take a whole bunch of damage. 3 more overpens for 40-50. Oh, come on. He's got 15 hit points. Yes, got him. So we've gotten 3 kills, 122,591 damage. We're going to eat a torpedo. We flood, we repair, and we heal it right back up. I'm sitting here praying for this destroyer that's up here, this Benson, to lay down a smoke screen. Dear God, please. Please, please, please. No. He is not. Well, we need to engage something here because we are so close to the other ships that we are not going to be able to get away. Oh, need to add a little bit of lead there. No hits, no hits, no hits. And we are about to get taken out of this fight. There's one fire. And... oh, come on. We can make it. There's the second fire. That'll doom us. So we are now basically on our death spiral. Thanks to 2 fires and a really balanced gameplay style. Wrong! Alright, so let's talk about how this all came to be. Now, I know a lot of you guys are thinking, well, you know, you went 8 minutes and 50 seconds and you died. Well, I took out 3 ships. I took out 2 very important ships and a third that's arguably pretty important. So let's talk about knowing when to push and when not to. I know it's a difficult decision, and in truth, when you have a lot of support behind you, especially from destroyers, it makes things difficult. You need to have destroyers up in front of you to help spot. Those destroyers are absolutely critical. They spot all the enemy ships, but more importantly, they spot torpedoes. And with that, you need to also support them. If you're not taking out and engaging ships that are attacking your destroyers, you're going to lose 1, a source of smoke to hide in, 2, you're losing your spotting for other ships, and 3, you're losing your spotting for torpedoes. All of those are horrible things to lose. Destroyers are super important to this. At the beginning of this match, we didn't have any destroyer support, but I felt confident with 2 Missouris there that both of us, in addition to the Tirpitz, in addition to the Henry IV, that we could handle any destroyer threats that popped up. And as you guys saw, we encountered 3 destroyers. I sank 1 right off the bat. I sank 1 in my death turn, and had I learned to aim, I probably would have gotten the 3rd one, when I was turning on my death turn. So what targets should you prioritize then when you are pushing? Well, you fully committed to pushing, we'll say, the northern flank here like we did on this map. Your first targets are always going to be destroyers, followed by radar cruisers, and the reasons for that should be pretty obvious. 1, destroyers are your biggest threat as a battleship. With those torpedoes are just absolutely ruthless. They definitely do not want to be your friend. They are dangerous as all get out. But the radar cruisers, that's for your destroyers. You also want to prioritize within destroyers that excel at taking out other destroyers. So predominantly the US and German destroyers. Those 2 destroyers should be prioritized. Russians can be a close second after those 2. I guess it'd make them the 3rd. We're going to call it second. And then after that, you can focus on the torpedo cruisers. Why? Because you need your destroyers in the fight. You need your destroyers in the fight. You need to be able to keep them alive. And if they've got a Fletcher hunting down your Benson, that's not going to end well for you at the end of this, because that Benson is going to get destroyed by that Fletcher unless he gets really lucky. So you need to focus down those guys first. You want to bow yourself into, so you want to point your nose at the most lethal threat first. Destroyers at close range are a bigger threat to you than battleships at longer ranges. That seems paradoxical, but I would much rather bow into the torpedoes that will lop off 20k every time they hit me and risk getting lucky hits that don't citadel me for all of my hit points. I will take that risk 10 out of 10 times, because 1 torpedo hitting you at an odd angle means 20,000 hit points. A shell hitting you at an odd angle, maybe it's a citadel, maybe it's not. I'll take my chances. Torpedoes are far more lethal. The other thing is, don't panic when you're underneath that high explosive shell fire that is so frequent when you're at the front of a push. If you are going to panic, you're going to blow your damage control party way too early, and in doing so, you're going to eat damage from torpedoes. Now, all high explosive damage, well, maybe not. I'm trying to remember what high explosive damage is. For sure, all fire and flooding damage can be easily repaired. The vast majority of your high explosive and AP is going to be repaired. Citadels, you're only going to get about 10% can be repaired. You can sit and be on fire in 3 places for a long time if you know that the destroyers in the area still have their torpedoes. I would highly recommend saving those unless you are far enough away from them that you're confident you're not going to take any torpedo damage. The other thing is don't just rush in. Now in this battle, I overextended. I wasn't paying attention to the mini-map. Our friendly Missouri was behind me for the large part of that, and as a result I was sticking out. When I went to make my turn, they were focusing on him. I got real lucky. The Benson didn't come through for me, though. I was really hoping he would have popped smoke there, and I guess I could have been spamming the F8 key asking for smoke to see if he'd deploy it. But one thing that I wish destroyer captains would understand is when you see a battleship on your team that's low on hit points, but he's not really the subject of a lot of incoming fire, just enough that he could possibly die, lay down a smoke cloud for him, especially when there's another battleship in the area that would actually be able to take advantage of that. So destroyers, you're part of this equation too. You need to help out as best you can. And I understand that your smoke is precious. I'm not asking you to waste it all willy-nilly, but there are times when it is absolutely important for you to do that. Knowing when it's time to leave the area. These should be pretty obvious. You got no support from friendly ships, or your support is dying faster than you're taking out enemy ships. Or when enemy ships are more lethal to your existence than what you are to them. So if you're in an area, you're the only battleship and you're facing a bunch of, destroyers, I would probably be looking to get the heck out of Dodge. Or you've overextended yourself and are the subject of intense focus fire and you don't have any smoke to help hide you from that focus fire. So here's a couple other things to keep in mind as well. Broadside targets are your priority. They maximize citadel damage and overall damage potential. Taking ships out of the fight is more important to victory than racking up big damage numbers. However, if you do prioritize those max targets, those broadside targets, and you get a lot of citadel hits, you're going to do a lot of damage and take ships out of the game faster. You saw when I was bowing to all those ships, I found a broadside Des Moines and promptly removed it from the game. Those are the things you got to be looking for with your situational awareness. Also, support your friendly destroyers. They can make or break your pushing. And you can see they're complimenting. And really thankful that those guys actually helped out. So that, you got to make your destroyers stay alive because they're the key to winning the late game battle. They cap for you, they provide smoke for you, they spot for you, they spot torpedoes for you. You need to keep them alive. After the destroyers, focus down those radar cruisers or other cruisers that excel in taking out destroyers, like the Royal Navy cruisers. Get them out of the fight as best you possibly can, and that will help you stay alive. Now, when you look at this battle and you apply all those things, you saw when I was pushing in, I focused down. First thing I shot at was that Udaloy. Went to go find that Kagero because it was the next highest priority target. It was still a destroyer. There were no radar cruisers around. There were no cruisers around at the time. When he disappeared, I found that Des Moines, and he got removed from the game immediately. It was a great shot. I'm glad I took it. Don't regret it at all. His removal definitely contributed to the game because now, look at how many destroyers we have left. We have 2 destroyers to their 1. That's huge. That's a huge advantage. From there, I started focusing on broadside targets. We found ourselves that Missouri, that Rune. Those 2 ships, we were targeting them, trying to get them out of the fight as best we possibly could. And when we ran out of targets that were easy targets to hit and we got overextended, when the Missouri died, when the Tirpitz didn't rush up with us, we made our death turn to get out of there. Now, unfortunately, things didn't kind of add up as well as I had hoped. Unfortunately, like I said, I kind of potatoed into a little too deep there. It happens. Had that Benson deployed smoke, it was probably a 50-50 shot of me surviving, but hey. So here's the end results of all of this. If you do this well, 1, you do 123,000 damage, make 1.7 million credits because Missouri, get 3 kills, turn around, on the top of the team, I beat a person who had a Kraken by 500 base XP. That is an incredible contribution to the game. By taking out those destroyers at the beginning, taking out that Des Moines, huge impact on the overall flow of the game. Anyway, I'm your Peacekeeper. Like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching.